Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we're doing 2004's Collateral. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Idle Poncho. And let's get into the cast of 2004's Collateral. Well, this film stars Tom Cruise as Vincent, Jamie Foxx as Max, Jada Pinkett Smith as Annie, and Mark Ruffalo as Detective Fanning.
Hi, Jada. We missed you. It's been a minute since we had a Jada joint.
Yes, it has been a minute. And it's like starring, Jada Pinkett Smith. And it's like, no, she's in 6 minutes of this movie. Like she's in the first 2 minutes and then the last 5 minutes. Like that's it. That's all she gets.
They paid her for her name.
Oh, absolutely. Movie. Absolutely. But so this movie basically, in a nutshell, Max is this cab driver in Los Angeles. And the opening of this movie is he picks up Annie. She's a district attorney. They get to talking and Annie discusses her nervousness over an upcoming trial. And Max discusses his dream business, a limo company. And two things here. One, Max can't shut up about... He's like that friend you got that's always like, hey, have you heard of NFTs? Or cryptocurrency? He's that guy, but he won't shut up about his limo company. And two, when he describes it, he basically, I know this is 2004, but he basically describes Uber because they're not limos. All the cars, he's looking at town cars and 4-door sedans in the little magazine.
Basically, you are, in a previous life, I used to work for a company that would have to book these high-end sedans for CEOs and celebrities that would fly into town because, limos are so passe these days. Can't be seen in one of those.
Yeah.
It's gross. So you book him a town car. No problem, no big deal. That's essentially what he's looking to do.
Yeah.
Dude, first off, there are so many problems with his business idea, starting with the name. Island car service or island transportation. You're not on a fucking island. This isn't the Catalina wine mixer, you dick.
But his favorite place is an island, but you're literally gonna have to explain the name every single time somebody calls.
and that exact problem is why nobody's gonna want to never get out of your car.
Yes.
That and the fact that you can't shut the fuck up. So if you hire personalities like yourself, which people tend to do, you're just going to have a lot of chatty Cathys in there fucking running their mouths at people that don't want to talk to you. By the way, if you're a cab driver out there, hi cab drivers, Uncle Corey here. If you watch this movie and you're like, dude, there's a chance for me with somebody like a Jada Pinkett Smith, a lawyer and a cab driver, a beautiful woman, and me, a lowly cab driver, et cetera, et cetera. It ain't fucking happening. You have to look like Jamie Foxx in order to even get the idea of a normal human conversation.
Yeah, nah, dog. So, your mustard-stained t-shirt ain't getting the job done. Okay, so just keep rolling and don't talk to your guests in your cab. Here's a don't do that for you, by the way, because during this cab ride, they argue about the directions on how to get Jada to where she's going. Hi, people out there. When you get into a cab or an Uber or a Lyft, don't argue with the driver over the fastest way to get somewhere, especially now. Now, they got Google, and Google will tell them the accidents, it'll tell them the fastest route, and that's where they're going. And by the way, back then, cab drivers knew every inch of every city they drove in. So, no arguing about, hey, if you take a fucking left on La Brea, get the fuck out of my cab. That's how that conversation ends.
Which I did like that. I did like that aspect of Jamie Foxx's character where he knew how schedules were running, where traffic was going to be backed up, all that shit.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, why did in the opening scene of this movie, we're seeing him go through all his OCD motions of cleaning the cab.
Yeah.
Even later when they're talking about the cab being dirty or the cab being wrecked and all that. Like none of it, the jokes, I guess, pay off.
Yeah.
To where he's really upset about it. And again, you see his kind of OCD mind working when he's talking about how long it'll take to get somewhere from different locations at that time in the city. So I didn't understand that opening showing him as a neat freak. Like,
yeah,
is it supposed to make us think like, oh my God, Jamie Foxx is a cab driver? That's disgusting. I don't want to go. Oh, look, he's clean though.
He's a clean cab driver.
He's clean. Let's go see it.
I bet you he wears the proper amount of cologne when he drives his cab. So we get to the end of the ride with Annie here, and Annie gives Max her card. And hey, call me if you ever need an attorney, yada, yada.
This is where Corey takes the rest of the night off because it will not get any better.
Yes.
Period.
Exactly.
Jada Pinkett just fucking gave you her number and was like, give me a call. And I ain't driving a cab anymore.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yep. No, absolutely.
Done. I'm tap dancing the rest of the fucking way home like I'm in Flashdance.
Now, Vincent then here approaches the cab. He offers Max $600 to drive him around for the entire night. Max reluctantly agrees because his boss doesn't like when they do that and they're hired out for the evening and yada yada. Max then here tells Vincent about his dream of opening a limo company because, again, he can't keep his mouth shut. And Vincent shares a story of a guy in LA who died on a subway car and no one noticed, and that's why he hates LA, and it's very impersonal. And as far as the payoff at the end, like, that was a long way around to get to the payoff.
I honestly forgot it because he mentions a couple different times about how nobody will notice.
Yes.
So, like, the whole fact that it came all the way full circle.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's hardly the most important lesson that I got. Like, I didn't knock on my neighbor's door.
No,
I don't know.
I have other lessons in this movie, but that isn't one of them.
And mainly, I can't stress this enough. And I know some people like to talk. Some people are lonely. They need to talk to people, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. By and large, keep your motherfucking business to your motherfucking self. Because all this does is get him, being Max, caught up in bullshit and used and manipulated constantly by Tom Cruise as Vincent through this entire movie based on this one conversation where we suss out that you've been driving a cab for 12 years and you still have a dream of opening a business.
So Vincent has Max drive him to an apartment building to visit a friend. And Max parks in a side alley. Vincent goes upstairs. Max starts eating a sandwich. And as Max is eating, a dead body falls on the roof of his cab, like basically crushing his cab. Vincent then comes downstairs, and this is where he reveals that he shot the guy. And now Max is like, oh, I'm in some shit I don't want to be involved in. And Vincent forces Max here at gunpoint to help him hide the body in the cab's trunk. And they wash the blood off the car, repair the light on the top with like duct tape. And Max is like, dude, let me go. And here's another don't do that. Listen, bro, you're at gunpoint. Don't be begging. Just go along with it, okay? Don't beg. Don't shoot me. Just let me go. I won't tell nobody. First of all, that whole thing, I won't tell anybody. That never works ever in the history of film or real life, for that matter. So don't do that. Just do what Jamie Foxx does the rest of this movie, and just look for little opportunities to get the fuck out. Because at the end of this, if Jamie Foxx, if you're Jamie Foxx in this situation, right? At least if I am, I'm going, oh, I'm not getting $600 at the end of the night. Now I know this dude's killing people, and I'm gonna die at the end of this fucking hit spree cab ride. Like, this is like Crazy Taxi from PlayStation. Like, this is, at the end of this video game, I die. So I'm going to try everything in my power to run any chance I can get, which is what Jamie Foxx does basically the rest of this movie.
Yeah, and I would even stress further that be apathetic. The more it looks like you give a shit what he's doing, the
Yes.
more likely it is you're going to die sooner because you
Yep.
are more of a liability to the killer.
Yep.
So just be apathetic. You don't have to jump up and down for joy, but I don't know that motherfucker. You do what you got to do. Look, he did what he did. You're doing what you do. I'm
Yep.
just trying to get through my night, man.
You were right.
And to
Yeah.
Armando's point, then, once he's a little more comfortable, he's going to let down his guard and I can skedaddle off into the fucking night.
Max and Vincent here get pulled over by the LAPD because his cab's all smashed to shit from the body. And
Yeah, they didn't think this plan through very well. Like,
no.
Why did you think you were just going to be able to drive that car for the rest of the night?
Exactly.
And I know Max isn't like going to offer up that information. This is pretty much one of the best case scenarios for him right now.
Yeah. Yep.
But Vincent, being the professional hitman, because he constantly reminds us that this is what he does for a living, which, take it easy, guy. If it's what you do for a living, you don't have to fucking remind me. Just do your job. You know what I mean? Like, we get it.
Yeah.
Napoleon, calm down. And yes, that was a Tom Cruise short joke. So this video is about to get blocked on YouTube.
Yeah, we got to make the best of it.
I don't know. Vincent's idea here of just moving forward with the night in this cab.
Yeah.
Super dumb. That's all I'm saying. I'm shooting him and I'm calling another cab.
Yeah.
Maybe from the dead dude's phone upstairs or something. Like, this is the whole plan's fucked at this point.
After they get pulled over by the police are called away to handle another call. They get the, oh my God, there's so much blood, and they gotta run. Max then gets a call from his boss, who got a call from the police about damage to the cab. This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie because Vincent tells Max to basically tell his boss to go fuck himself. And then he poses as Max's attorney, telling Max's boss that insurance is going to pay for the damage, and why are you trying to shit on the working man? And I do like the scene. Like, again, this is one of my favorite scenes in this movie, but it's they're trying to get you to kind of like, oh, he's a hitman, but he's like a likable hitman.
And what are you trying to pull, you sarcastic prick?
See, I looked at this scene as Vincent setting up more of a motive.
For him to go,
for Max to snap.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my boss was fucking working me, and this attorney, blah, 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 blah. U.S. attorney who? You know what I mean? Like, once you're investigating what Max had done after he was dead, it was all going to start playing. Like, every little thing Vincent does through this movie seems to have, it's almost like fresh. Like, every single move he makes has purpose.
Sets up something else later on. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Vincent has Max then take him to more places where Vincent kills people, and he has to kill 5 people by the end of the night. Meanwhile, Detective Fanning and Mark Ruffalo is dealing with like the trail of bodies and crime scenes that they're leaving behind. Yeah. He pieces together that the clues involving people Vincent killed, the coroner tells Fanning that the killer used the same method to shoot all the victims, so he kind of thinks they're all tied together. 2 shots to the chest, 1 to the head.
By the way, that coroner sounded a little too excited looking at these bodies.
Yes.
Like, you could hear him breathing through his mouth excitedly when he opens up the last body. He's like, look, right there. 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. A couple millimeters apart.
Yes! 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 Oh! Oh!
He is a coroner. They're a little weird. They're not like, they're strange rangers. They're not like the most normal people.
That's a fair point. I just really didn't expect them to jizz in his fucking scrubs over the dead bodies. But hey, I've never been a coroner, so maybe there is something there.
Later, Max and Vincent visit Max's mother in the hospital because that's part of his daily routine. She's blowing up his boss's phone at work, and Vincent doesn't want he doesn't want any suspicion to arise of what's going on. So let's carry on with your normal day. Then Max here manages to slip away while Vincent's talking to his mom with Vincent's bag that has his laptop, the addresses, and all the information on the targets. And Max runs over a pedestrian bridge over like the expressway and tosses the laptop and the bag and everything over the fence. and it's run over by a truck. I do like this scene. It's Max getting away, but then like just don't stop. Just keep just toss it and run. But this scene just existed because every movie that Tom Cruise is in, we need a scene of him running. So
this was a good one. We got a long silent scene of these two people running through the streets of LA.
Yes.
Heat, it was not.
No.
This was way too fucking long, dude.
Yeah.
Especially for it just to be where Max throws the thing over and then shits his britches. Because nobody's ever seen a bag get tossed that high or a bag get hit by a semi-truck. Like, I don't know what they're so in awe of. Like, I get Tom Cruise. That's his entire night.
Yes.
Max, though, as you said, run, bitch. What are you doing? He's just sitting there with his mouth open.
Yeah, as you're running, because the bag is more important than you, obviously. So as you're running, toss the shit over onto the expressway and keep taking off. Vincent has to make a choice here. He's got a hard choice. Do I look down and stop and see if it gets hit by a car? Do I keep running and fuck the bag? It's done and over. Like, he's got a choice to make there, and it gives you a little bit more time to get away. And let's face it, on no planet and no fucking bizarro world universe is Jamie Foxx losing in a race with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is 5'4". He is not winning any fucking long marathons here. Jamie Foxx crushes him in a race. So after this, they have to go to this club where Felix, the gangster who's having Vincent make all these hits, they go to his club and Max pretends to be Vincent, gets the info for the hits, which I do like this scene as well. Jamie Foxx is he's just great because he gets in there and, you know, he's got like he's like, I'm Vincent. Like, he's got that I'm so nervous, I'm about to shit my pants look on his face. And then as he gets into it, like, he gets more into character. And then he's like, first of all, I think you need to tell this motherfucker to put his gun up because I ain't having that shit. The transition from I'm going to poop my pants to I am this hitman is fantastic. I love how he did it.
Oh, 100%. And just like you said, the transition of him going from I don't want to die to I'm about to die unless is just, it's fantastic. I mean, look, I don't know anybody out there that's like, yeah, Jamie Foxx isn't that good of an actor. This motherfucker can act his nuts off. He's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And listen, so is Tom Cruise. I'm not belittling. Tom Cruise is amazing in this movie as well. And if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the first times since he became Tom Cruise that he was the bad guy in a movie. And he did it really well.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't really remember, but he did. He plays such a good bad guy.
He does. It's not like Denzel Training Day good, but it's still good.
While they're, you know, in the club, Detective Fanning joins the FBI stakeout of Felix's club, and he identifies Max, who he thinks is the killer, you know, as a cabbie. Fanning then joins the FBI in following the cab because, according to the FBI, these contract killers are hired to look like other people so they can blend in. So, like, the mob is using doppelgangers. Like, that's how they hire hitmen. Like, that whole scene between Ruffalo and the FBI is ridiculous.
There's something else going on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, in fucking typical law enforcement fashion, they were totally uninterested in anything Ruffalo had to say until they found out it was a black dude. And then they went, oh, fucking doppelgangers and aliens and fucking technology. And it's definitely him. Can we fucking kill him now? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. You're worse than the fucking coroner jerking off on a dead body. You got so excited over this shit. It's like, my God, dude, what is wrong with you? And then the whole time, like, Ruffalo's like, well, there's this other case. I don't know if it's necessarily him. Oh, fucking course it's him. Look at him.
Felix then has Max followed by his own men to ensure that Vincent will complete the last 2 hits. Bro, just have your 2 goons do the hits. Like, that infuriated me. I'm like, listen, if you don't trust the guy, fine. Pay him to make him go away. Have your 2 goons do the last 2 hits. Fucking done and done. Everybody's fucking good.
Well,
But
he's the actual lost member of Ives Perret gang from Tango and Cash. He just got caught up in the fucking legal trouble, so he couldn't hang out with his boys.
yeah,
But he's so into the convoluted plans, being Felix,
yes,
he fits right in with that crew.
exactly.
Like, oh, let's do this and this, but don't murder him like this. And then I want a hitman who's going to hire a cab driver who take the fall for the hits.
Do I get any thanks? No.
This movie's not bad. I know how it sounds.
No, it's not bad. I love this movie.
When you break down like what the actual goal is at the end of the day, you take yourself out of the excitement of empathizing with Max.
Yes.
What is happening?
Yes. No, it's
insane.
It's a bit ridiculous. But after this, Vincent and Max go to this busy nightclub to kill the next dude on the list. The FBI, LAPD, they're like going through the club trying to find Max or Vincent, who they think Max is Vincent. A massive gunfight breaks out here where Vincent kills the target, which whoever this dude is sits in his booth the entire gunfight like shit ain't popping off all around him.
Did you see what was happening though in the one scene? They do one flash cut once the shooting starts. And all of a sudden, you see a chick pick her head up from under the table and turn to run. I wouldn't fucking move either. If I'm going out, I'm going out like that, bro. Fuck that noise.
I mean, I guess, but like shit starts popping off around you. Like I know he's got lots of like bodyguards and whatever.
Well, he was about 30 seconds away from popping off if they just would have left him be.
He kills his target. He saves Max's life here. Because Max is about to get shot. He shoots the 2 guys.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I got to stop you very quickly here. Hi, FBI agents. Uncle Corey here. If the priority of your mission, your task, is to focus on the person you are supposed to protect, as you are making your way to said person you are supposed to protect, don't go, ooh, there's that black guy. And shout his name out, Vincent, and fucking charge after him instead. That's why your Korean witness got fucking executed.
Yes.
In this club because you peeled off of what your duty was.
Yes.
Idiot motherfucker. As soon as that happened, I'm like, man, fuck these guys. Like, nobody is competent that wears a badge.
No, in none of these films. I mean,
no,
we don't even have to say it anymore. It's just assumed that none of these cops are anything but dipshits. It's just like,
and what's astounding to me is all of these decades of movies we've had now. We've covered 70s, 80s, 90s, blah 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 blah. Every fucking movie has a cop in it. Cops are fucking dumb as shit. And yet some people in this fucking world still thinks the FBI has the capability to fucking rig a presidential election.
Detective Fanning finds Max in this club. He's leading him out of said club. When Vincent appears behind him, shoots Fanning. Poor Mark Ruffalo, he goes out like that. I didn't like that. But Max and Vincent then escape said club, and they head for the last target. Max here loses his shit, and he's basically at the point where he's like, I know I'm going to die. This is over. He speeds up and starts just flying through the streets of LA and purposefully crashes the cab.
What you should have done an hour and a half ago, motherfucker.
Yes, exactly. And Vincent crawls out and takes off. Contract killer or not, you are not walking away from this crash, let alone running again, because you got to get Tom Cruise running, this time from behind. You got to get the behind running shot. He doesn't even, like, he starts hitting them while they're still in the cab, and then he hears the cops, and he's like, oh, adrenaline and things. Like, dude, that's not happening. You rolled that cab 48 times.
Can I tell you something? I can explain this.
I would love to hear the explanation.
When I was younger, maybe 5 or 6, my parents were in a bad car accident and I was in the back seat. As the car was hitting us, my mom pushed me down in the back seat, and in between, the passenger seat and the back seat, the little space where your legs go. I got shoved down there. I walked away. Tom Cruise is about my size when I was about 5 or 6. Ergo, he could have just crammed himself into that little hole. The crash happened and he popped out like a fucking jack-in-the-box.
Not a chance.
So a police officer here gets to the scene of the crash, tries to help Max until he sees the body Vincent hid in the trunk. And while on the ground, Max sees Vincent's computer and like the computer screen and realizes that Annie from, the beginning of the movie is the final target. So Max is in the process of getting cuffed here. He overpowers the cop and takes his gun, which
overpowers him by flipping him over his shoulder.
Max
can barely look another human being in the eye unless he's talking about his car company.
Okay.
And all of a sudden he's performing Ronda Rousey-esque jujitsu on somebody.
Okay. You're going to defend Tom Cruise, so now I'm going to defend Jamie Foxx. You're goddamn right Jamie Foxx flipped this fat motherfucker over his shoulder. He just, bacha! And dude, that was the most believable thing in this movie. Was that that he flipped this freaking chubby ass officer over his shoulder.
Jamie Foxx, yes. Max the taxi cab driver, no.
One and the same, my friend. One and the same.
He becomes his characters.
Max then calls Annie from a cell phone to warn her. But of course, it's dead battery trope time. So the phone keeps cutting out and dying because beep, boop, beep, beep, beep. So he runs to Annie's building and reaches her at the same time that Vincent does. Max shoots Vincent in the face and then runs away with Annie. However, Vincent, because he's a cyborg, somehow survives a gunshot to the face and chases them onto a subway train. And this is where the movie ends. Vincent and Max fire their guns at one another. Vincent gets shot while Max comes away completely unscathed. The professional assassin gets outgunned while they're standing in front of each other at the end because Max does the roundhouse 360 with the gun because guns and he doesn't know things.
Yeah. Hi kids. Uncle Corey here. Don't do this shit. Pick a fucking target and shoot at it. Like, that's the thing that drove me crazy. We have to hear through this entire movie that this is what Tom Cruise does for a living.
Yep, 6 years.
And the island car transportation guy shoots like this and manages to hit the motherfucker square in the lung. Dude, that's like me shooting John Wick. It ain't fucking happening.
You're right. It's fact.
Just because you're in the dark, too, makes it worse. Like, he should be more comfortable in the dark. This guy's basically Batman.
Yes.
And you're a cab driver. That's the only thing I hated. Like, if they would have had maybe Jada come in to help him and be more of a distraction, like to Vincent or something like that.
Yeah.
Cool. But just for him, like the shootout.
Yeah, that was not awesome.
And look,
and then
Michael Mann is a fantastic director. I have no beef with Michael Mann, but this almost ended exactly the same way that Heat did. And that I have beef with. Quit doing your fucking characters the same way because it takes so much of it out of, like, the emotion's gone.
Yeah.
I already saw De Niro die and I liked him way better than Vincent. Like, what are we talking about here?
Exactly. And the movie ends as Vincent asks Max if he thinks anyone will notice his body as he dies sitting in a seat on the subway train. And then Max and Annie leave the train and walk away. And end of movie. So a couple of things. I love this movie. I know I shit on situations and whatever, and we both did, but this movie was super entertaining. There's a lot to be made fun of just because of, again, going back to situational awareness and whatnot. I still think this movie holds up. I mean, hell, it's only 17 years old. It's not like it's 40 years old at this point.
Right.
And both actors are still like prominent Hollywood A-listers. So all three.
Oh, totally.
So that, even four. You got Mark Ruffalo now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Jesus Christ. So you got four actors who are, heavy A-list stars in this movie. But no, I liked the movie. And again, it goes back to writing. Just write. And I'm noticing there's a common denominator throughout all these reviews that we do. And it's like, just if you change the writing just a touch, it literally changes the whole. It makes the movie so much better if you just put a little bit more thought into like certain situations. And I know it's an action movie, but still, just give me something.
Yeah, look, you can break down, which is what we do here, anything to its bare bones and make fun of all the semantic parts of it, which is what we do for a living now.
100%.
So, fine, fair enough if you don't like that. This movie's great. It is because it is a character-based movie. And that's why I believe the situations are just kind of background noise.
Yes.
This is such a character-driven movie and is such a testament to Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise and their charisma and their chemistry together.
Yep.
That the rest of that, when you're in it, if you're just sitting down to watch this as a movie, you're in it. You are emotionally invested in the characters as a whole. You want to see where it's going to go. And kind of the ridiculousness and the background noise and all that shit that we just made fun of, it almost doesn't matter in a movie like this. It's kind of like Heat. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot in Heat where you can just like strip all the way down, all the varnish off of it and tear it apart. But it's the characters in it that are so fucking appealing that make it go. And I think that's what Michael Mann's like real talent is these character-driven movies with you have action as the background, action to get people in the seats, but you're really telling a story about two different men kind of connecting and interweaving. And it's a great movie. These guys are fantastic actors. I don't care who believes in what and where and who. I mean, unless you figure out that the guy fucking killed Miss Savage's wife, I'm gonna keep watching his movies. You know what I mean? He's fucking great.
No, I can compartmentalize and separate the two. The dude's a phenomenal actor. Half of what makes him a good actor is he's a little crazy, and those are the best actors ever. Go back through history of all actors. The best ones are typically Looney Tunes.
Dude, Daniel Day-Lewis retired to be a shoe cobbler in fucking Ireland. Believe in Xanadu if that makes you feel better. I really don't.
He's got to be the only shoe cobbler in the world. Do they still cobble? Do people cobble still? Is that a thing?
He does. I guess in Ireland. I don't know.
I don't know.
Not to go back.
if my soles or my shoes are all fucked, I just go to Amazon. I just buy new ones.
I don't know. I looked the dude up on IMDb and it says shoe cobbler under actor.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
That's all I got. I really do think this movie's great. And again, like you said, the background noise in action movies, it gets ridiculous and you just have to accept it, but it's fun to make fun of.
Yes. And by the way, Jamie Foxx, I highly recommend this. Jamie Foxx is fantastic in the new Spider-Man. He's great.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. So
he steals a lot of the scenes. They hooked him up with a really good part this time and made up for whatever the Amazing Spider-Man character was.
Yes.
So yeah,
good.
He's really good in that. And every time I talk about Tom Cruise, I have to say this. If you haven't seen him in it, watch Tropic Thunder.
He's phenomenal in that.
My number one comedy, and he is a large reason why. He's absolutely fantastic.
Yep, absolutely. And what movies do we have coming up?
Oh, Dip. I have no idea.
Cool.
No, we have 3 O'Clock High coming up. We have The Karate Kid 3 coming up. And I know we do have another couple PayPal requests sitting in the bank. So I will be adding those to the list tomorrow.
Cool. Well, that's all we got. Hope everybody has a happy new year. I know we missed saying Merry Christmas, but whatever. Who cares? I didn't get to wear my Santa hat, so I'm a little depressed.
I was at a Xanadu party with Tom Cruise.
Hell yeah, you were. You were at an Eyes Wide Shut party with Tom Cruise. So,
God, could you imagine?
With that said, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews. This was 2004's Collateral, and have a happy new year.